Google seems to be coming out with what looks to be their own game console. Right now it's called Project Yeti, according to some sources. Remember that name for future Google alerts to come from Google. They're everywhere. They might be evil and they're taking over. But there are some loose details about what's happening with Google's video game plans. You may remember in the past they tried to buy Twitch, but then Amazon took the lead and now they own Twitch. You can subscribe to people's Twitch channels using your Prime membership. Yay, it's an ecosystem. But in Google's platform, we know that involves 3 different components. One is it's some sort of streaming platform, is the guts, has some sort of hardware, and the third thing they're going to do is very Google, which is to attempt to bring game developers under the Google umbrella by means of either recruiting them or aggressively buying them out from under themselves.
I think it'll probably be the aggressive buying situation if I know Google whatsoever. Especially if we just start off by saying that they tried to buy Twitch and it didn't work out. They're going to go and try to buy something. Hopefully that's what they do. It'll be a combination probably, but there will be some. There's always an
incentive, a monetary incentive usually from Google to be owned by them. It's, right now they're banking on the idea of streaming, which is something that people were talking about a lot this year at E3 as being the future. Maybe there will be no PlayStation 5. Maybe there will be no Xbox 2, TWO, not the number 2. Maybe it'll all be streaming because their idea here is to kind of do what NVIDIA has been doing, which it's their program on this is in the beta right now, so it's not wide open to everyone, which is to stream more difficult to process games remotely. Therefore, anyone can play anything. One of the developers said, think of playing The Witcher 3 on a Google Chrome tab.
Right, that's like, think of having all the candy in the world and you eat it all. You don't get diabetes or a stomach ache. Like, that sounds great. Of course, if that technology was out there, yes, 1 billion people would be doing it right now.
It's not there yet. I mean, there have been attempts in the past. Remember, OnLive made this big promise of being able to stream anything to anything, and it didn't quite work. It was very laggy. A lot of this does depend on the infrastructure of internet connectivity.
It does sound like from these reports, Google is going to try to have some, if not a console, but then at least some kind of hardware. Mm-hmm. And there's been like that weird middle zone where, yeah, if everybody sits and looks each other in the eye, they say, well, it makes a lot of sense to have no extra hardware to buy, but rather have some kind of streaming solution. Mm-hmm. I do think that Google has had kind of a mixed success rate when it comes to their own proprietary like Google Glass.
And they get excited about certain projects and either a lot of the times they abandon them. Sometimes they become like Google Glass, where they do make the hardware and they do make this infrastructure. It just becomes nothing.
Yeah.
There's no interest in it.
But then again, the Chromecast is something that a lot of people have in their houses, and the Pixel has, the Google phone has kind of had ups and downs. I just read a CNET review that's like, the Pixel is better than the iPhone 10 for these 5 reasons that make a lot of sense to someone. So. And the thing that Google has going for them that other companies might not is that huge war chest and that long runway if they choose to utilize it to just keep pouring money into something until it works or until it so very much doesn't work. And for Google to pull the plug on something, it sounds like it so has to not work. That they're like, all right, fine.
I mean, a lot of competitors have come up in the past. I mean, you can go back to the early days of Nintendo and Sega.
And TurboGrafx 16.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is? Bonk's Adventure?
No.
There was TurboGrafx 16.
Did you play this?
Oh, God. You could rent it at Babbage's for a day.
I don't know what Babbage's is.
Yeah, it was in the mall. But yeah.
But, I mean, we've seen a lot of different competitors come and fall. I mean, we were talking about Ouya a few years ago, and we thought this is going to be the thing that unites them all, and it's running on this Android processor, and it'll take anything, and it'll be open source. And it became nothing. Nobody uses it. It went on the sale rack. Nobody bought it even then. But when you think of who has the power to do this, look back to when Microsoft was like, we're announcing Xbox. We're going to compete with Sony. And, of course, they were a success. They're Microsoft.
But that launch, when they first launched it, was a nightmare. They under whatever manufactured. They didn't have enough like stuff to get out there, but they still made it through.
So even they had a disaster, but they still made it through. And I think Google is one of the few companies Amazon is probably up there too. That does have the sheer power to be able to do this. We will see soon what happens with that.